Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to take a look at the Flesh Eater Courts because they have just gotten a Tome Celestial update that is going to be coming out in the upcoming White Dwarf. All the information is out there now, so we're going to take a look at everything they got in this Tome Celestial update and talk a little bit about it. Now, just to give a brief overview of what they got a brand new heroic action available to Flesh Eater Courts, which is really cool. They got an update to the channel throne, their terrain piece, and they got some grand strategies and battle tactics as always. So, with that all said, let's get cracking on and let's chat about everything that the Flesh Eater Courts got in their Tome Celestial update. Alright, and so let's start with the heroic action. So, pretty standard sort of stuff. Any Flesh Eater Courts hero can perform the following heroic action instead of any other heroic action that hero can do. Now, it's called Muster Reinforcements. You pick one friendly Flesh Eater Courts hero and roll 6 dice. For each 2+, you can turn a slain model to any friendly serfs unit. This is ghouls, or for each 5+, you can return one friendly model to a Knights unit. This is Crypt Horrors, Crypt Flayers, that sort of stuff. It is worth noting that both of those have a 10-inch range on what you can resolve it is, and it is not wholly, it is just within 10 inch, which is pretty cool. Now, slain models can be returned to more than one unit if you wish, so you can spread out these heals if you want, but each successful roll can only return a single model. So there's no, if you roll a 5+, you don't get the Serf and the Knight, you get one or the other. But you can freely pick to go, say you rolled 2 2s and 4 5s, you could return 4 Knights and 2 Serfs, or you could make them all Serfs, or you could, any of the Knight rolls could also be returning a Serf. Whatever you want. This is pretty cool. There's a bunch of Flesh Eater Court heroes that already have very similar abilities to this sort of stuff. So nothing too out there with it really, but it is nice. This means, a lot of your other units can sort of perform this. Cool that Terrainheim and all that will get access to this as well, which is nice. I think a nice solid heroic action for the army. Alright, and moving on to the channel, throwing the terrain piece for the Flesh Eater Courts. Pretty standard sort of setup rules all here, outside of 3-inch of objectives, other terrain features wholly within your territory, that sort of stuff. Now, the big change that it's got is it's got the Ghoulish Landmark ability, and I actually think this is really cool. Enemy units within 12-inch of the terrain piece cannot be affected by abilities that would allow them to ignore battle shock tests. So this would include things such as, obviously, Inspiring Presence, any outright battle shock immunity abilities that would affect them. Say, something like Cities of Sigma. Something I constantly use is the Veteran of the Blazing Crusade from Hallowheart. Or even Ossiarch Bone Reapers and their entire Allegiance ability would not work while within 12-inch of this rule. I think this is really cool. Flesh Eater Courts generally can pack out a decent amount of heat in their attacks, and just having this allowing them to sort of hit battle shock tests, I think is a really interesting sort of play. Now, it's also still got the Ruler of All He Surveys ability, 12-inch, as long as you've got a Flesh Eater Court model garrisoning it, wholly within 12-inch, all Flesh Eater Courts heroes can use the Summon Man-at-Arms, Summon Courtier, Summon Royal Guard, and Summon Imperial Guard commands without a command point being spent. None of that has changed, so pretty cool. I think there's a neat little update on here that actually has some very good play. There is definitely a lot of battle shock sort of play in the new edition, and with the limit on what can be done, I think some smart placing of your channel throne could be really interesting. There's definitely going to be, a mix of where you sort of place it now, I think is really interesting. And lastly, we have the grand strategy and battle tactics. I think there's a bit of a mixed bag here, in all honesty. Grand strategy is Growing Kingdom. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there is at least 3 friendly Flesh Eater Courts units on the battlefield that were not in your starting army. I don't particularly think much of this one. I think it's generally a little bit hard to do. Though, you can sort of plan for it, but it doesn't mean you're going to have to require your heroes staying alive, and guaranteeing their sort of safety means you're not pushing them forward as much. I think, this is iffy. It's just much easier. Why would you just not... It's sort of more required of this than, say, pick battle lines to survive in the game, where you can guarantee, okay, I'm just going to have that battle line unit already on the table, it's going to hide in the backfield. I think, there's just better battle tactics than this one. Sorry, grand strategy, I should say. battle tactics wise, screamed to death. So, pick one enemy unit on the battlefield. You complete this tactic if that unit is destroyed by ranged attacks from friendly crit players, Royal Terrorgeists, or Boring Ghoul Kings on Royal Terrorgeists. Not a terrible one, in all honesty. I think there's definitely, uses for this. Most people are going to have Ghoul Kings on Royal Terrorgeists in their army of some form. There's definitely builds of Flesh-Eater Courts that really like using crit flayers and stuff like that. So I think there's certainly some play in this battle tactic. I think it'll be a little bit easier, but this one, I can see this one being completed. It's a nice additional one to have. It's not a gimme, but I think there's definitely, the chance that it's going to happen. Royal Hunt is the second one where you reveal this battle tactic. You pick a monster on the battlefield. You complete this tactic if the monster is slain. And if the monster is slain for an abhorrent unit, then you score an additional point. I think that's really cool. Abhorrent Ghoul Kings on Royal Terrorgeists can complete this for an extra point. Nice. Not to mention it's killing a monster as well, so there's bonus points. You can get 4 points from this. Really solid one for me. I like this quite a lot. I think this is going to see a lot of play, and this is probably the best out of all the grand strategy and battle tactics. This is the best one by far. Last one, United Court. This is almost never going to happen. You have to pick an objective your opponent controls, and then you have to not only control that objective, but also have it contested by one friendly serf, one friendly knight, and one friendly courtier model at least. That's not going to happen. Like this, if you're managing to do United Court, you've already probably won the game anyway, and you've probably, well and truly won that game. I don't think it's going to be one that you're going to pick up when you're sort of down. It'd be rare that it happens. I mean, I won't say never, because, never is not always certain. I've probably used most things, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be a particularly effective one that you're going to see much. Royal Hunt, though, is definitely going to see a lot of play, and Scream to Death, I think there's definitely going to be something you can see from it. All in all, I don't really think much. I think you've got 2 battle tactics here that are useful. One of them is really good, and pretty much a gimme. You can really put in an Abhorrent Ghoul King on Terrorgeist into something to get those 3 points, 4 points even from it, while we remain in the realm of beasts. But that is everything the Flesh-Eater Court's got. So let us know what you all think of this. What do you think for the Flesh-Eater Courts? Love to hear everyone's thoughts down in the comments below. And so that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And drop us a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by joining our Patreon or YouTube members, or grabbing some channel merch off our merch store on Teespring, which is on our YouTube store as well. You can also come chat with me and other members of our little community here and our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description, along with the Patreon and YouTube members links. And as a special shout out to all those Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, James Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nilsson, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Dome, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek, and Giapi 390. And a special thank you to our YouTube members: Greenridge Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Locke Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Sean Scott, Pink Nico Fire, and Robin Mankiller as well. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel, and to everyone who comes on the channel and helps us create everything we do. Thank you all for watching once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.